this church, it's very welcoming, it's this and that. But when we got there, again, the same type of experience where we just didn't feel, it was, they did have more families of color at this particular church. It was much smaller, but it was more, it seemed like it was more for
you hear that?
Sake.
You hear that?
Than it was because they actually understood the gospel and understood the need for racial reconciliation.
Did anyone in this church ever say anything that made you feel uncomfortable? Do anything?
It wasn't. There was nothing ever really overt that happened. It was just
black folks.
We just knew that we didn't.
Israelites
and in
leaving
the larger church,
white mega
churches,
leaving Christianity.
Color there were black families. But they were so sparse, and it was from the pulpit. I think the message from the pulpit was not one that was inclusive, and I think that's one of the biggest
so-called Negroes are leaving these churches, man.
That he is willing to have.
You're dying. You're freaking dying, man.
That you will not hear from a lot of congregations today, which sets Bentry apart from a lot of predominantly white churches.
Yeah, we have a comment here from Mohammed Ziyadin. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that last name. Mohammed says, neither God nor Jesus has said in the Bible that black and whites should have separate churches. And I'm curious, I want to ask you, Michelle, are you all cognizant of racial demographics of the congregation as white members?
Scripture say, come out from among them and be ye separate. You're not supposed to get together with so-called white people, Edomites.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we want to reflect what heaven looks like. Those who believe in Jesus and are image bearers, we all look different as image bearers of our Creator, and would love for our church to reflect what heaven looks like and be brothers and sisters in Christ, and to be open to anyone regardless of their race, definitely. And I think the demographic of the area where our church is located is changing, and so we want to be a church that's open.
Stop being an Uncle Tom and leave this white man's church system.
So absolutely, it's
because
we have a long way to go.
If they're right, everything in heaven is so-called white. The Most High is white. Sweet Jesus is white. The angels is white. You're going to feel left out of place, man. You out of your goddamn mind if you still going to a church with Edomites, man.
Education and work that needs to be done.
Yeah, let me put...
comment from Darnell Barber. Darnell says, left one of these churches a few years ago, didn't appreciate pastor telling congregation who they should vote for when the recommended candidate was a milquetoast racist. Another question for you, Michelle. I mean, do you, the phenomenon that we're talking about here is, black people leaving predominantly white churches. Do you understand why that would happen? I'm just curious, from as someone, as a white person who goes to a church that, embraces people of color. Do you understand why that's happening and what response?
Yeah, let me just read this here. It says, the New York Times, English black worshipers have been quietly fleeing white megachurches since the 2016 elections. How can black and white worshipers create churches that are integrated and inclusive? Join our live chat with April Thomas and Michael Henderson as they discuss their efforts to bridge the color line at their church in Carrollton, Texas. New York Times writer John Elegant will take your questions. April, blah blah blah. Boy, let me read that again. The black worshipers have been quietly fleeing white megachurches since the 2016 election. How can black and white worshipers create megachurches that are integrated and inclusive? It's never going to happen because so-called white people think they're better than you, and so-called white people have no business being in the church anyway, if that's the church of God, so to speak. When I say church, I'm using it in a biblical sense. A gathering, okay? A congregation. If 2 or 3 gather together, that's a church right there. You can be at a restaurant and you start, teaching out of the scriptures. That's a church right there. Okay? Okay, the topic again, the New York Times, English black worshipers have been quietly fleeing white mega churches since the 2016 elections. Okay? And let me zoom in on it so you can see it, because I hope you can see it anyway. I'm going to put the sound back up.
Or white, very affluent families who, said, well, the reason if you are, and they weren't necessarily directing it at me and my family, but the comment was made, if the reason that you're not where we are or doing what we are doing or having what we have is because you haven't prayed enough or because of your own personal responsibility. It was just not a good feeling at all. And even from the
they're putting a guilt trip on Jake. If you in a race, if you in the 100-yard dash, and they have 2 guns and they have a so-called white man, Edomite, and then they have you, and they have a gun for the white Edomite, and they have a gun for you that go off when you run that race. And they said, when you hear your gun, run. If they take the Edomite gun for the Edomite racer and they blast it, the Edomite's going to start running. If they wait, let's say it takes you 12 minutes to do the 100-yard dash, they're going to hit your gun at maybe 7 minutes. So who's going to win? Who's going to win? Esau is going to win every time because the game is rigged, man. See, Edomites, when you go for a job, you're going to get a particular job because you're an Edomite. You're a so-called Israelite or a so-called Negro go for that same job if they're looking for an Edomite, unless they're looking for a token. Man. Okay, let's deal with, when you go to these mega churches, Christian churches, which is set up by, as I use the terms, Renaissance Christianity and plantation Christianity. All right, the slaves were taught Renaissance Christianity, meaning everything that has to do with the scriptures is so-called white or Edomite, and people. Jake, here it is 2018. Jake is finally waking up. The Israelites are waking up. And, they try to sit and touch elbows with Edomites, white people, and it's not working because Edomites are showing their true color, man. What does it say in Revelation 12:12? The devil's going to show his true horns, man. What he's all about. For the devil shall come down on you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time. His lies are running out. His lies are catching up with him, man. And plus, on top of that, you got us here at Great Millstone, and then I got to mention the other Israelite groups, because they're teaching that you're Israel. They're not teaching you the full truth. Now, if you want to get the full truth, the whole truth, you got to come to Great Millstone, man. And you got to learn who you are. Once you become an Israelite, then you understand why you're here, why your foreparents came over here in cargo slave ships, Deuteronomy 28, verse 68, which these Edomites are saying, oh, that doesn't mean that. It does mean that. Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter and the 68th verse. Matter of fact, Deuteronomy, the whole 28th chapter, starting from the 15, 16 verse, on down to the 68th verse, is talking about the curses that you were going to go through. And it was talking about the curses going back in the past. Part of the curses is when you came to the Americas and served slavery. It tells you in Joel, the 3rd chapter, in the 3rd verse on down, it speaks about how they sold us for a wine that they may drink. You know, they cast lots for us. So when you read about when you read the scriptures and you read about the Israelites, we are those people. We are those people, and you have no business, you know, getting together with Edomites, man. The scripture said in Amos, the 3rd chapter, how can two walk together except they be agreed? And we don't agree. When you go to Genesis, the 25th chapter, from the 19th verse on down, key point is in the 25th verse, it speaks about the story of Jacob and Esau. Now our people are beginning to wake up to the fact that these people that are the enemies that we became slaves under are Edomites for the most part, and we're Israelites. That's the only answer, man. We're not Kemetic people. We're not so-called Africans. Okay, we're not Moors. Although the Moors were Israelites, that was just a generic term that was put on them, man. Let me put this back, see what happens. Okay, it just stopped. But anyway, I caught it, you know, because I get a lot of these, you know, I get a lot of these channels with, what do you call it? What's this? Apple TV or whatever. You get a lot of these Access type channels, all right. But anyway, I'm gonna close it out. I'm gonna put this up on the YouTube. Anyway, the New York Times, English black worshipers have been quietly fleeing white mega churches since the 2016 election. Okay, how can black and white worshipers create churches that are integrated and inclusive? It's not going to happen because when you go back to the story of Jacob and Esau, go back to the book of Genesis, the 25th chapter from the 19th verse on down, and you read that when Rebecca had these two children, they were fighting in their womb. We were always fighting against each other, man. And now we're getting ready to come up in our kingdom, all right? And you Edomites, you're going to be under us. You're going to be our slaves. And we're going to whip your ass. We're going to put you on the bottom. We're going to have you working in the fields. We're going to fuck you up. And that's your future. This place is going down. This place is done. And the way Babylon the Great is going to be destroyed is by thermonuclear destruction. And Yahushua, which the world ignorantly called Jesus, so-called Jesus Christ, and the angels, they're going to be shooting lasers out the ship. Read what's that? Second Ezra, the 13th chapter. We're the Israelites, man. The reason why you're in the condition that you're in, because you are the Israelites, and not just you, but the so-called Negroes, West Indian, so-called Puerto Rican, North American Indians, Seminole Indians, Mexican Indians. You know, the people of North, Central, and South America of Indian and so-called Negro descent are the Israelites. And the so-called white men, and you have a lot of Israelites that look just like white Edomites. So just because somebody's white doesn't mean that they're the devil. In other words, if they look like an Edomite, but their line goes back to Israelites, they're Israelites, man. So the only thing that Edomite, so-called white man could do is hope that he's an Israelite. That's the only thing he can do. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom. 3 videos a day, baby.
Journalist at Al Masdar News, Brecht Yonkers joins us now from Brussels. Sir, welcome to the program. Walk us through the recent comments made by the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and his intentions on making these comments.
Thank you very much. I believe that it is quite unsurprising, let's say, that a man like Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman would be distraught and worried about Donald Trump's recent remarks regarding possible American withdrawal from Syria. What I find quite interesting is that there is no real hiding anymore of the real strategical objectives of Saudi Arabia and the United States alliance in Syria. As you have said, the Saudi Crown Prince no longer really tries to hide behind possible ideas such as defeating a dictator or restoring democracy like the Americans often say, but instead he openly says what he really means to achieve, and that is, of course, stopping any form of resistance that in its tracks. Of course, they call that Iranian influence, any sort of cooperation between Syria and Iran and Russia. They want to stop that. And of course, the fact that, according to Mohammed bin Salman, that the Americans could influence Syria more if they were to stay there with their military troops, supporting possible Kurdish insurgents or Kurdish secession and separatism. So I believe it is interesting in that regard to see that the Saudis are very open in their and very blatant in their admission that what they want is basically just power. They want more influence, they want more power, but they know that they need the Americans for that. Saudi Arabia is not militarily strong enough to mount an immediate invasion of Syria itself, and the Saudis have seen that their proxy forces, their mercenary forces, so to say, like Al-Qaeda and like ISIS, have been all but defeated by the Syrian army and its allied militia. So obviously for Saudi Arabia, it is very scary for them to hear any sort of such talk, like, for example, Donald Trump saying, I'm going to withdraw the 2,000 American troops, because that way Saudi Arabia is afraid that the Saudi American axis of domination will lose their military foothold in the Syrian country.
And very briefly, Mr. Yonkers, what do you think about the authenticity of Donald Trump when he says that he wants to pull out the U.S. troops from Syria?
I have my doubts about that, because as Donald Trump is known for changing his mind quite a lot, or maybe not necessarily his mind, but sometimes he speaks out of turn, let's say, as in he is, of course, the American president, but as we know, the United States is not just run by the president, it's run by an entire behind-the-scenes group of lobbies and of the military-industrial complex. So it is, of course, a question if this complex behind Donald Trump will allow this to continue. Of course, we have heard several such promises made by Trump or by people working for the Trump administration in the past. If you recall, it wasn't that long ago that there was already some rumors about American withdrawal from Syria, and back then Rex Tillerson, the Secretary of State back then, he immediately squashed all those rumors and said, no, we're going to stay indefinitely. So now Donald Trump says he wants to leave, and it is possible that he actually wants to. If you read his speech, it sounds a lot like the things he said when he was campaigning to become president, being America first, want to return back to troops back to America, save money, save troops by not going in all these crazy imperialist endeavors. But I don't know if the Pentagon and the CIA, which is now in control of the Secretary of State with Mr. Pompeo, the Secretary of State now, I'm not sure if the CIA and the Pentagon will allow this, so to say, and if Donald Trump can actually continue with this plan, on whether or not he actually wants to.
Thank you very much, Sir. Brecht Yonkers joining us from Brussels.
Apostle Tahar coming back at you with the truth, giving all praise to Yahweh by Shem Yahushai by Shem Rukat Kodash. And I'm going to entitle this one Hebrew Words and Their Meanings. I'm just going to go through some words that I know from studies in the past and recently putting up videos. Because we use the Hebrew when we read the scriptures. Sometimes a word in a precept will jump up at you, and you want to see what the root word is, which is the Hebrew. And after a while, you begin to memorize these words, and that's how you learn, any language and anything when it comes to you. You see it, you experience it, you come across a word or a thing, you memorize it. Anyway, the first word is shalom, which which shalom simply means blessing. Sometimes a brother might say shalom, which that's the way the so-called Jews say it, but in the Hebrew, the spelling is shalom, which means you're sending a blessing to someone. Shalak Rayam. Shalak means send, and Rayam means evil. You can say Shalak Rai or Shalak Rayam or Shalak Yum Rayam. The yum at the end of, or the suffix of a Hebrew word makes it plural. Like, for example, when you go to the book of Genesis, from the very first verse, it says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. That's the first verse in Genesis, the first chapter. And it's repeated by John in a different way, but it pretty much says the same thing. When John, the first chapter, in the first verse, when he speaks about the beginning, he's talking about Genesis, the first chapter, the first verse. And by the way, Genesis, the word in the Hebrew is bara'ash yas, which means, literally means, ba meaning in, rash meaning head, and the suffix behind that, say bara'ash yas, is, it would literally translate into in the headings, but we say in the beginning. It then says bara'ah, that's the Hebrew word for created. And then in the Hebrew it would say Allahayim, which is the word Allah, which means God, power, judge. And that also applies to men. You have men that are called gods, because even our Lord told that to the wicked scribes and Pharisees, because they said, you call yourself a god. And he said, does not your law, which he was quoting out of Psalms 86 verse 2, or is it Psalms 82 verse 6, one of them. Anyway, he said that the Most High said, ye are gods, but ye shall die like men. So the word there was Allahayim. So, when somebody in the church reads Genesis 1 verse 1, they'll say, in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth, and then they'll say, well, that's God, the Father, the Most High. No, the Most High wasn't even mentioned until the second chapter of Genesis. So it says, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. Heavens is Shemayim, and the word Shemayim literally means Mayim, meaning water or waters, and Shah meaning pertaining to the waters. So Shemayim, the word for heaven, is pertaining to the waters. So when you speak and understand Hebrew and you translate it into English, the translation comes out a little funny. And it says, Wa, that was for the heavens, right? Wa Aratazah, which means the earth, as opposed to the ground, which is Adama, and that was the name given to Adam. His name was given to him after the earth, because he came from the earth. So as you go through the Hebrew and you go through the scriptures and you look up certain words, you begin to remember certain Hebrew words. Yerushalayim. Now, shalom or shalom is peace, and Yara means Yara means city, and there's different ways you can say the word city. The word strong in the Hebrew is gazak. The name of the Most High is Yahweh, which means He is. Like the word Judah, Yahweh is Yahweh's name, and the Da or Dawada means thanks or praise. So the word Yahweh means praise Yahweh, thanks Yahweh. Because it was Leah. It was either Leah or Rebecca or one of their concubines, I forget, that praised the Most High for having that son. I'm almost positive it was Leah. Anyway, Jacob. Jacob in the Hebrew is Ya'aiqua, which means supplanter. Well, what did he do? He supplanted his brother Esau. Esau in the Hebrew is Aishah, which means wasted away is he. He was also known as Edom, which is Adawam, which means red. The word for Isaac, and how people would say Ataza Kwak, but it's actually Ataza Kak, which means laughter. The word for son is Shaman, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, it's Shamsha or Shamwan. I forget that, you know. But as I go through these words, it comes back to you. At one time, I was able to, me and High Priest Ariel, we were able to hold conversations in the Hebrew. We knew a lot of words. We actually hold conversations in the Hebrew. I mean, we wouldn't speak it as fast as the English, and we would have to think about the phrase before we said it. But we were actually communicating back and forth. There was this one guy that I believe either came up with Abba Bivens, Elder Abba Bivens, that this guy said that he would study the Hebrew, and a man in a gray suit came to him and showed him how to pronounce the I sound and the R sound, and I, and Vocab Malone, you know, said that, oh really, that happened? So not so many words he said in his words. Anyway, the scriptures say in Hebrews the 13th chapter, be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for some have entertained angels unawares. So that could have actually happened, and that could have been an angel, and we believe that was an angel. If that actually happened, a man came to him with a gray suit on, showing him how to pronounce the Hebrew, and that actually happened, then that had to be an angel. I had a couple of experiences where I ran into people, never saw them again, and in the back of my mind said that person had to be an angel. We had this one story when we was coming from speaking on the train in the camp. I had my camp with me. This was back in the 90s, early 90s, and High Priest Ariel was with us. And we were coming back on the train, and there was this derelict that walked past us, and when he got to the car to walk through the other door, he turned around, stood upright, and saluted us. And I believe he said, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Barak Adum, or something to that. He might have said Shalom, Shalom Israel, or something like that, I forget. But we all looked at each other, and we said, and we went through the door, we said that had to be an angel. So I remember that experience back in the early 90s. It had to be 91, 90, maybe 92, 93. So, and by the way, since I'm speaking on angel, the word angel is, I believe it's malakath. I'm almost positive it's malakath, and it's similar to the word malak, which means king. And Malaka would mean queen, meaning female king. The son of a king is known as a what? A prince. And the word prince is Shah. Like you have, that one time you had the Shah of Iran. Well, that shows you that in the Middle East, those languages, Arabic, and those languages in the Middle East, because you have Pashtun, Arabic, and you had a couple other languages, but you listen to them speak, and some of those words sound like Hebrew words because they come from the Hebrew. And by the way, the word Hebrew is the Hebrew word Ibar, which means past. Oh, the word for name is Shum. So you had 3 sons, right, from Noah. Noah's Nawak, which means comfort or comforter. One of his sons' name was Shum, which we came out of Shum, where you get the word Semitic. Like I said, Shum means name or put. Ham, another son of Nawak, is Chum, which is the Hebrew word or Lashawan Kodash word for hot. That's where you get the word chemical or chemistry, cum. And that's why these jakes out here that call their way of life the Kemetic way of life, or they say Kemet, what they're really naming is one of the sons of Noah, Nawak, Chum, which by the way, they're not Hamites or Chumites. Japhet is Yapat, which means beautiful. And there's different ways to say beautiful in the Hebrew. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say Shalom.
Hey everybody, my name is Chad Booksam with Alternative Media Television. I want to go over a topic that I discussed previously, but I really want to drill down on this omnibus bill and why Donald Trump supported this. Now, domestically, obviously, it's pretty much an atrocity how it injects steroids into this welfare state, and our debt keeps going up and going up and going up. But remember this, the U.S. military-industrial complex, they don't care how much we get in debt as long as war is on the horizon. And the only reason Donald Trump supported this bill is because the funding to the military is probably unseen in decades, the amount of money that's going to the military. Now, of course, that's great. We want a strong military, we want a strong country. But why is this happening at the same time Donald Trump's kind of flipping out cabinet members and bringing wartime people close to his cabinet, close to him, surrounding him in this circle? Because at the end of the day, the only reason Donald Trump, and I really want to drill down on this, supported it is because of that aspect. Only for the military. Only for the military.
There are a lot of things that I'm unhappy about in this bill. There are a lot of things that we shouldn't have had in this bill, but we were, in a sense, forced. If we want to build our military, we were forced to have.
Just look across the Atlantic, look what we're facing in the Middle East, look across the Pacific, look what we're facing in Asia. We have huge issues. We have Xi Jinping, he put on the biggest show of force with these aircraft carriers in the South China Sea. He sees, and this is why, remember, China basically embedded Xi Jinping into the Constitution. He has unlimited presidential terms. Is because they see Xi Jinping, and he sees himself this way, as the person who's going to make China beat the USA, as the person who's going to make China be the #1 world dominating force in this country, military-wise, economically, all across the board. Now, they're more disciplined in China, okay? They don't have students running and crying about every little thing that happens like here. I mean, for God's sakes, and our education system is so bad, it keeps getting lower and lower and lower. Obviously, in Asia, it's much higher. And these students and the teachers just let it happen. All they care about is their feelings. They're walking out, they're crying. We're letting the kids run this country. This is what's happening. We're letting little children run this country. Now, Donald Trump, America itself, is facing World War III right now. And it's like, I don't understand how some people think it's impossible for it to happen, where we've gone through this multiple times. You know, I can understand young people who haven't lived through the atrocities of the past, through wars of the past. But when it comes, it's going to hit you hard, and you're going to have to accept something. That this world is not based on your little feelings, okay? It's not based on that. It's based on corruption, unfortunately. It's based on, as an individual, obviously you want to be smart, you want to be savvy, you want to put your feelings to the side, you want to think ahead, you want to be strong, you want to have individual rights, you don't want to be relying on the government, you want to have family structure, moral structure. But what leads this world? These corrupt governments, these corrupt families going back hundreds and hundreds of years. Okay, all of these lobbyists, all of these corporations who have one thing in mind. One thing in mind is more, right? And that's what the U.S. military-industrial complex is doing. Obviously, they want more what? War. So do they really care? Do they really care how much debt we get into? Does it even matter? I mean, what is even what is anything now? Is money, is it even real? Look at the debt we're in. You think Wall Street cares? How come Wall Street keeps going up? We keep getting in debt, right? Wall Street goes up, and we keep falling into more debt. So, Donald Trump supports the omnibus bill. Call it a wartime bill.
We have troop increases necessary to accomplish what we have to do, and we have, very importantly, a pay increase for our troops.
Russia, China, Iran, there's nothing that's going to break their alliance. The only thing that will break their alliance is World War III and us with our allies attacking. That's the only thing that's going to happen. The New World Order wants to break apart that alliance. It's using the U.S. military-industrial complex to do that, as it's been doing going forward. Look what's happening in Saudi Arabia, for instance. Look at the proxy war between Yemen, the Houthi rebels supported by Iran, backed by Iran, and Saudi Arabia. First of all, Saudi Arabia is knocking out ballistic missiles, supposedly, right? They're being launched from these Iranian forces. And you have Israel doing the same. Now, from the Gaza Strip, missiles are being launched. Everything is getting played out. Benjamin Netanyahu was supposedly sick. You know, things are going on in the background that we could see that just don't seem right. You see these little meetings with Xi Jinping and Kim Jong-un preparing. Look, China controls Kim Jong-un no matter what Donald Trump says to him. No matter what Donald Trump says to him. Can we basically drive a different path than war with North Korea or war with any of these countries? Well, guess what? They don't care what you think. All right? They don't care what the people think. You think the U.S. military-industrial complex goes off our feelings of how we feel about war? So we have to be smart and we have to connect the dots no matter what. Look, we might be here and everything is peaceful. You know, the radical left might be just so distracted with the most, you know, with pornography, obviously, with Stormy Daniels, which is ridiculous. But look across what's happening in other countries. Russia, you think they have their citizens, you think Russia, the country is run by a bunch of snowflake children? Like this country, basically? No. They're more united, they're more disciplined. Same with China, same with Iran, same with North Korea. Now, you need people, I would expect, to win wars. And my whole feeling is, we are at a stage where if we went to war, we would have to worry about our own citizens who hate this country and want it to fail. Who's going to fight for this country besides U.S. patriots? We have to discuss this because, look, at the end of the day, you have the mainstream media who will side with China, Kim Jong-un, way before they side with us. They're going to be on the front lines with the enemy, right, saying how mean America is. This is what's going to be occurring. And you have radical leftists, socialist communists who are rising up in this country, regardless, call them what you want, call them Antifa, I don't care about the names. It's an ideology that has to be broken, pretty much. An ideology that has to be broken. You know, the only thing we have in this life is individual rights. This is what I believe in, our Constitution, which they want to just completely rip apart. But just take a look what's occurring with these people. So if we went to war, they're going to be stabbing us in the back left and right, and we all know it. And it's going to be nothing but saboteurs who are going to leak out everything. If they're in the military, look at the deep state, for instance. Leaks out everything, sabotaging Donald Trump on a daily basis. So basically, this is the point I really want to make, that Donald Trump is, and his administration, the U.S. military-industrial complex, regardless who's in the White House, preparing for war. This is why he signed the omnibus bill. So they're preparing, so you need to prepare yourself as well. Okay, so how do you prepare yourself? You got to be prepared to survive on your own. You can't just rely like these snowflakes on their little feelings. The government's going to come and help me, take my guns, take everything away from me. No, you need to be able to survive. The Second Amendment is going to get taken away. So you need, obviously, to protect yourself regarding the Second Amendment. You need survival equipment, bug out bags. We have it right now in our store. Go to our store, amtvmedia.com. Go into our store. It's 15% off right now, Patriot 15. And prepare yourself with knowledge. Absolutely with knowledge. Tune out the mainstream media. Tune out the TVs. Break free from that. Break free from it. Literally disconnect from all of that Hollywood pop culture and gain more knowledge. Support alternative news. Support other people who don't rely on their feelings like the radical left. Now, we're going to be pumping out so much content coming out of here. I mean, we are going to quadruple the content. Now, there's a lot of things that we can't say here on YouTube. This is why we built another platform, because I'm sick of the enemy's arena. Honestly, I'm so sick of the enemy's arena. That's why we built our own arena. And we have to understand this. And we have a community, an underground. Join the underground. It's $5 a month on demand. Join the underground. Click the link below and join this movement. Anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, my name is Chad. This is AMTV. Hard hitting it in your face. God bless.
This is the Bat Creek Stone. It was found during the course of an official Smithsonian evacuation. The Smithsonian didn't understand the meaning of the writing on the stone. They thought it was Cherokee, since it came from Cherokee country. They didn't realize that it's actually Hebrew. They had published this originally upside down. They threw it in a box at the bottom of the Smithsonian, put it in the basement. Many years later, a scholar took it out of the box, looked at it, and went, oh my gosh, it's upside down. It's Phoenician, ancient Hebrew. So what's going on here? What is that about?
Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah, Kodash, double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, peace and blessing to the elect of Israel. All right, we're Great Millstone. All right, you know, these the brothers in Charlotte. You know, I'm the brother Kazak. All right, we together back at you once again with an installment of truth. All right, once again, giving all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai.
That's right.
What you see before you is the Bat Creek Stone, found in Bat Creek, Tennessee. Okay, and basically, really, it's an incomplete writing because it's a small piece of a much larger piece of writing. All right, and basically, when you look at it, this is Paleo Hebrew. This is ancient Hebrew. But the mystery is, see, Esau, he claims he doesn't know what it says, and they'll lie to you. They'll tell you it's a hoax. Okay, if you pull up the first one you got, because see, when you look at the beginning of it, now Hebrew is read from right to left. Now when you look at those first two characters, it's hard to pretty much make out what they say, you know, because that doesn't look like Paleo, and you're gonna find out it's really not Paleo, but it's still Hebrew. Now the rest is Paleo, all right, but we have those two characters to break down to you what that says.
Okay.
Can you get the screenshot?
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay. It's the very first one.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm just short. Yep. Now when you look at that, that says Quatazah, all right. Now you see it in the Paleo on the right, and it's in the Assyrian on the left. Okay. It says Quatazah, and it means end at the end of time, end of space. Okay, now so when you look at this on the right, it says Quatazah, which means at the end of time, and then the rest says La Yahweh. Okay, so at the end of time, or at the end of days, La Yahweh, which La is 2, or you could say 4. All right, and Yahweh is Judah. That's how you say Judah in the Hebrew. So at the end of time, 2 Judah or 4 Judah. So, what, you know, pretty much thinking in your spirit, what would you make out the rest would us say? Because see, you're gonna come to find out there are 12 tribes of Israel. Okay, so this was pretty much Gad reaching out to their brothers.
They remembered us.
They remembered us, and they remembered the prophecies that at the end of days we would join together. All right, so Quatazah La Yahweh, at the end of time, 4 Judah or 2 Judah, we come together, man, as one nation again. Okay, and Baba Kusha, we can get that the second screenshot. You can just pretty much read, if you can read it for me.
Gotcha. It says Bat Creek inscription. It says the Bat Creek inscription, also called the Bat Creek stone or Bat Creek tablet, is an inscribed stone collected as part of a Native American burial mound excavation in London County, Tennessee. In 1889 by the Smithsonian Bureau of Ethnology Mound Survey directed by entomologist Cyrus Thomas. The inscriptions were initially described as Cherokee, but in 2004, similarities to the inscription that was circulating in a Freemason book were discovered. Howick's Kenneth Fetter says the peer-reviewed work...
Yeah, wait, is he calling it a hoax?
Mm-hmm.
It's not a hoax, but go ahead, brother.
It says, Kenneth Fetter says the peer-reviewed work of Mary L. Kawaz and Robert Manafort has demolished any claims of the stone's authenticity. Manafort and Kawaz themselves state the Bat Creek stone is a fraud.
And you Edomites are a fraud, and the Smithsonian Institute are nothing but thieves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's what Esau does. He steals everything. Okay, so and they specifically said they got this stone from a burial mound. Okay, Baba Kushah, can you get that in Jeremiah?
Gotcha.
8:1, and right. then we with that what you got. Habakkuk. Go ahead, brother.
All right, this is Jeremiah chapter 8. Verse 1. At that time, saith Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, they shall bring out the bones of the kings of Judah, and the bones of his princes, and the bones of his priests, and the bones of the prophets, and the bones of the inhabitants of Jerusalem out of their graves.
Right, now, that prophecy is speaking about Judah, but see, you're going to come to find out that same curse fell on the other tribes as well. Okay? They desecrated our graves. They got this stone from a burial mound, man. You know, they desecrated Gad's graves, you know, looking for gold, looking for precious stones, looking for riches. And it just so happened, well, not just so happened, ain't no coincidence, the Lord made them find the truth. Okay, and the truth is that we are the Hebrew Israelites, man. Okay, people of so-called Negroid and American Indian descent make up the 12 tribes of Israel, and this is proof. So it's not a hoax. And we was talking about it, man. Hey, this is how Glenn Beck got fired from Fox News. Yep. Okay, he spoke on this, man. Okay, so hey, this is all through the Spirit. Bob, should I get what you got out?
It's Habakkuk 2:14. For the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord, as the waters cover the sea.
Yeah, so the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord as the waters cover the sea. Can you get that in Isaiah?
Got you, brother. This is Isaiah. So let me grab it. Isaiah chapter 11, and I'm going to start at verse 9. Isaiah chapter 11, verse 9 says, They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of knowledge of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai as the waters cover the sea.
So it's saying the exact same thing. So that's archaeology. That's truth. Okay? You know, which archaeology means the study of the ancient. You know? The study of the ancient. The study of our origin. Okay? And us here in this truth, see, we're the real archaeologists.
That's right.
We're studying our past. This is about us. This is our history. It's not Esau's history. Okay? Yeah, you have something else, brother? Well, yeah, you can get your article, too.
I get the Psalms for you.
Okay, kind.
The Psalms 85:11 says, Truth shall spring out of the earth, and righteousness shall look down upon from heaven.
Bible, shall I read again?
It says, Truth shall ring out of the earth.
Yeah, truth shall spring out of the earth. Truth is springing out the earth. Look at this, man. This came out of nowhere. Go ahead, brother.
And righteousness shall look down from heaven.
And that's going into the internet, because we're going to put this up later. Okay? Righteousness shall look down from heaven. Okay? Those satellites, you got a point you want to make?
No, it's just a confirmation in the Spirit. You see what I'm saying? The Lord has confirmed the things that's written in the scriptures, man. For the ones that's carnal minded, for the ones that need to see it to believe it. You see what I'm saying? Well, we're giving it to you, man.
This is it.
You know?
I mean, what else can you say? What can you say after this? You know?
Because the evidence is proven that, you know, that we're the so-called Gadites, or the so-called Native Americans are Gad, man, because they customs correlated with how the Hebrews conduct themselves in the history. Man.
Absolutely. That's right, brother.
You know, they holidays, or they holy days, went straight with the Hebrews, man. You know, they had their own version of the Day of Atonement, you know, Passover, Feast of Tabernacles, and all that, man.
That's right. Even down to the very basics. They wore fringes on all their clothing.
Exactly.
Okay? Even today, they still speak a broken form of Hebrew. You know? So come on.
The characters for their languages, it closely resembles Hebrew, you know. The way they said certain words, you know, was like a form of broken Hebrew, man.
That's right, brother. And this is straight proof. You see, that's plainly, the brother showed you on his phone, that's plainly the Assyrian Hebrew to the right, and to the left is the paleo. Okay? So come on, man. You know what I mean? But we're not doing for you, you know, doing for these guys that need things, they need proof. But this is for you brothers, man. You know, to strengthen your faith in these things that we speak. Okay? But yeah, we can read this on the side too. You know, you want to read it, Ashiar?
Yeah, I got you. All right. So we're gonna read from top to bottom. Okay. All right. Mysteries of the inscription. Is it Cherokee? All right. It says some people believe the writing is an ancient form of Cherokee syllabary, which existed long before Sequoia invented Cherokee writing in 1821. The writing was known to ancient Cherokee priests, but kept secret until the Sequoia revealed it. This legend continues to exist among Cherokee people today. All right. It says, but other people say not all the characters are part of the Cherokee syllabary. Today's Cherokee elders in the Tribal Historic Preservation Office and Culture Office do not believe the inscriptions is Cherokee.
Yeah. And you see the deception.
Right.
Because see, this is how you're really supposed to read it. But see, Esau flips it upside down. Okay? And that's what he does with everything. He's turning the things upside down.
Yep.
You know, the Lord's going to break the Edomite way.
Right.
Okay? Even in the West, they got us reading from left to right. We're supposed to read from right to left, man. You know, so this is right in your face. But yeah, we can read.
Right. Now here's the interesting part. It says, is it Hebrew? It says some people believe that the writing is a form of ancient Hebrew writing from about 2,000 years ago. Perhaps the stone was brought here by ancient travelers or traded from far away. Because you know the Northern Kingdom came over here. What was the year?
Yeah, around after 722
yep,
BC.
Exactly. So
yeah.
It says,
hey, so that lines up. It said 2,000 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So they were already over here. All right. It says perhaps the Cherokees and other American Indians are descended from the lost tribes of Israel. All right. It says some items in the burial, which the stones were later tested and given a date about 500 AD, and some say that the copper bracelets were like those worn by Jews in ancient Rome. Whew. All right. But here's the discrepancy here, man. Here's when things get ambiguous, man. The gray areas, man. We're not certain, all right? But other people say, experts say the writing is not correct for Paleo-Hebrew, you see? So here comes the semantics, here comes all the BS, all right? It says, and that is, Salaki, it says, and that errors are like those of modern hoaxes. The idea that American Indians descended from the lost tribes has been conclusively disapproved.
Oh, yeah, disprove. You can't disprove the truth.
Right.
You know, that's why the Spirit brought us here, man, because you devils are liars, you know? That's why it says that in Deuteronomy, Bible Kashah, can we get it? It's Deuteronomy 33, towards the end. We can read like the last couple verses. It's in Deuteronomy 33. Because see, the Most High is going to put an end to your lies, man. Okay? You are not the people of this book. Now you in the book. It speaks about Esau, but you're not the Israelites. Go ahead, brother.
Okay, Deuteronomy 23.
33 and yeah, we 28, 29. Come on.
Okay, Deuteronomy chapter 33, verse 29. Happy thou art, O Israel, who is like unto thee, O people saved by Yahweh Shem Eloshai, the shield of thy help, and who is the sword of thy excellency.
Yep.
And thy enemies shall be found liars unto thee, and thou shalt tread upon their high places.
Yeah. So you're being disproved. You're being found out to be a liar, man. You know? Hey, because it says he is a liar and the father of it.
That's right.
You know, speaking about Esau. So, hey, you got it, brother. We can read the rest of it.
Yeah, come on. All right. Let's get back to that point. It says the idea that the American Indians descended from the lost tribes has been conclusively disapproved. Southern people were working native metal during this time and could have not created the copper bracelets.
Yeah. So southeastern. Hey man, cause Gad was heavy here in the southeast, you know. But see, Esau didn't civilize you, man. You were civilized. You civilized Esau. You nursed them back to life. But they saying that you couldn't work with heavy metal. Come on, man.
Right. You taught them crop rotation, agriculture, you know, how to live off the land. It says no other artifacts or physical evidence supports this theory.
The Bible does.
That's right.
The scriptures. You got it, brother.
It says, so continue on. It says, is it a hoax? All right, is it a hoax? Some people believe the writing and the stone were created in the 1880s. It says, in place with a mound artifacts at the time of excavation. The writing resembles a Masonic text published in 1870 that would have been known to the excavator, who was a Freemason. Ancient stone artifacts with writing are extremely rare throughout human history, and Cherokee archaeological hoaxes were common in the 1800s, and many are well documented. This is the position of the Smithsonian National Museum of Natural History, owner of the artifact.
They ain't the owner of nothing, man. No.
Thieves.
Yeah, thieves. That's right, brother.
Because they're the ones that set up to push forth these lies, man. All right. It says, but other people say the character and integrity of the excavator are still being debated. Some scratches on the stone from the 20th century are newer than the inscription. The inscription has yet to be examined by an epigraphic.
Yeah, we don't need no epigraphic scientist, man. You know.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, once again, we're the real archaeologists.
That's right.
Yeah, you got it, brother.
It says epigraphic scientists to determine the kind of tools used to create it. Further testing could to determine whether the stone was ever in a grave.
Liars. And they gonna ask at the end, what do you think? You know? But see, even what they have here at the bottom, well, that says Kodash La Yahweh, which is holiness to Yahweh. Right. But we just broke down what this means. Now, this doesn't mean that. This means at the end of time, for Judah or to Judah. You know? Because they remembered us, like the brother said, man. All right? But yeah, hey, man. And they're speaking about mounds over here. And that's where Esau got this artifact from. Okay? They have, you know, artist depictions of mounds, which were all throughout North America. And these mounds resemble pyramids because the same people that built the pyramids in ancient Egypt.
Right.
Okay? But yeah, we can close out on this.
Got one scripture for you.
Oh, yeah, you got it, brother.
And like you were saying about the mounds, the 10 tribes was building mounds in like you were bringing out in Assyria. You know, so like the brothers were saying, the same customs. All right. It's just proving that they're part of the tribes, man. You can't get around it.
That's right, brother.
Got one more scripture for you.
It's 2 Corinthians 13:8.
Yep.
But we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth.
You see? So all of this that we were reading, man, you devils can't do nothing against the truth before the truth, man. All right? We know who we are, man.
That's right, brother.
We don't need you Edomites validation, okay, to prove who we are, all right?
That's right, brother.
We know by faith, number one, but the Lord has provided the artifacts and the evidence in the world to further prove who we are.
That's right. That's right, man. The truth is the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world.
That's right.
You know? Hey, and it says that in First Esdras, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, but that's it, man.
That's it.
You devils, you're only helping our cause.
That's it.
Okay? The elect are going to be gathered. You seeing it happen? We being gathered together right now by this word.
Right.
You know? But, you know, just to read a little bit of this.
Go ahead, bro.
All right? It says, Back Creek Stone. People built mounds throughout the southern Appalachians along creeks and rivers. The mounds were built using dirt from the house of each person in the community and ceremonies that symbolized people meeting together. All right, so it was a sacred thing. Yep. You know, it was used to bring Gad together. Townhouses were built on top of some mounds. Oh, townhouses, showing you not all Gadites lived in teepees like Esau tells you. Okay. The townhouses were community meeting places, each with a central fire. Some mounds included burials, but most mounds were not burial mounds because they were used as temples.
Yep, places of worship.
Yep, that's right, brother. They were used as places of worship. This stone tablet was discovered in 1889 in a mound with burials west of the Great Smoky Mountains. Where Back Creek enters the Little Tennessee River, excavations were being done to see if the ancestors of modern tribes had built the mounds, or whether a separate race of mound builders had done so. No, it was your ancestors. Yep. Your people did this, man. Excavations throughout the southeast proved that the ancestors of modern tribes built the mounds, including the Cherokees. That's right. Because of this, the stone and its inscription were initially thought to be Cherokee. Since then, people have proposed several theories. All right, so this is your writing.
Right.
Okay, your people did this.
Right.
Okay, so with that, we hope you brothers were edified. You know, and even you few sisters out there. Are you brothers got any closing statements? Or anything?
No, just the point that, like you were saying, this is part of the several theories, man. One of the theories is the Native Americans part of the 12 tribes of Israel, and that's fact. You see,
irrefutable proof.
Yeah, it's irrefutable. You can't get around it. They're part of the tribes, man. All right.
The truth, the heavyweight champion of the world. All right. So, with that, hey man, you Edomites are through. You know, you want to put our history upside down.
Right.
Okay. All right. And you being a Jew, you know, you being the real Jews, that's a hoax. Okay. So with that, We want to say Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakah, Kodash. Double honor to our teachers, the apostles of Great Millstone. Honors and blessings to the hopeful elect. Shalom. Shalom.
Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1534B, and today's date is April 2nd, 2018, and the title of the episode is, Boom! The Deep State is Terrified. Truth are lies, lies are truth. Let's get into the economic collapse, political and geopolitical news. Now, with Facebook and Google and other social media outlets, we see that regulations are being pushed. Even the French President Macron is saying that Facebook, Google, and other social media platforms, well, they might need to be regulated and they might need to be broken up. And it looks like this is turning into a push for regulation on all social media platforms. And we can see right now Trump is hitting Amazon very, very hard. And remember, these companies make up the FANGs. And the FANGs, well, they are part of the stock market, a huge part of the stock market, where people were trading on the Amazon stocks, Facebook stocks, and it's been keeping the markets up. Think about it. The Swiss National Bank, central bank, has been purchasing the FANGs. How much do you think they're going to be losing as the FANGs take a dive, which we see the stock market is down today? This is going to affect everything. And what we're talking about is the destruction of this system. And what Trump is doing right now is he's hitting it from all sides. He's hitting it from the FANG stock market side, destroying the market, hitting it from the tariff side, and hitting it from the tax side, bringing currency back over from Europe, which is draining the dollar in this area, which is causing a liquidity crisis, which we're going to be seeing here in the United States too. But you could see that all of this is happening at once. And this is all being done on purpose. This is not like, oh, let's just try this, let's try that. It's all being done on purpose to rout out the deep state. That's what's happening right now. We see out in London, London has surpassed New York's murders rate for the second month in a row, due mostly to a spike in knife crime and shootings which left 15 Londoners dead in February, 9 of whom were aged 30 or younger, and 22 dead in March versus New York City's 21, according to the Sunday Times. Now, both cities have around 8.5 million people. New York City's murder rate has dropped by 87% since the 90s, while London's has grown approximately by 40% just in 3 years. And what's very interesting about all of this is they talk about, gun control, how it's going to help. Murders, robberies, crimes, these didn't start when guns were invented. This was happening way before this. People used knives, swords, rocks, picks, you name it, whatever they can get their hands on to commit a crime, to commit murder, to rob. This is what these individuals will do. It has nothing to do with the weapon itself. I mean, out in London, they're experiencing a spike in violent crime. They're saying that robberies have increased because they know that people are unarmed. So it makes it even easier to break into someone's house and steal their stuff. What they're trying to convince everyone of is that an inanimate object is responsible for the way people act, which is absolutely ridiculous because just go back in time. Before guns, people were still killing people. People were still robbing people. People were still raping people. This is human nature. This is humans doing bad things. It doesn't matter what weapon they possess. They're still going to do the bad things. And again, laws are not there to stop people. Laws are not there to protect you. It's to basically take that individual that committed a crime and put them away after the crime. Because no criminal says, hey, wait a minute. Wait, this is the law. It says no robbing this area. Do not murder, so I shouldn't do it. No, they don't follow the laws. The laws are there to put these people put them away after they commit the crime. So when they tell you that, the police are going to protect you, the laws will protect you, no. The police will not arrive in time. They will not be there. They will not be able to protect you. You will need to protect yourself. Yes, they will show up afterwards. They'll gather all the evidence. They'll do whatever they possibly can. But if someone is breaking into your house or something like that, you will need to protect yourself. You'll need to protect your family. The police will not arrive until 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 8 minutes later. And these criminals, they could do a lot in that short period of time. Now, it looks like the DACA deal, well, it's not going well. And Trump is saying, listen, we need to get rid of this completely. Now, what is happening here is that it looks like the deep state has called upon thousands of Hondurans to march up to the U.S. borders. Over 1,500 Central Americans are on a crusade across Mexico in the hopes of being granted asylum at the U.S. border. Now, we talked about this before because they have this law where it's catch and release, and it allows people to come into the country if they cross the border, and they put them on buses, they send them to sanctuary cities, and they've, in the past, when Obama was president, they had billboards, they told people with radio news broadcasts to come to America, they were on trains, send your children, and that was what was happening. Now, the deep state, well, they're pushing their agenda. And it looks like 6 days ago, the group of individuals from Honduras has set out on a march called Migrants in the Fight. That's their slogan. During Holy Week, the caravan, comprised mostly of Hondurans, was organized roughly a month ago by the mysterious group People Without Borders. And Trump is accusing Mexico of doing nothing to stop people from flowing in through the southern border, saying they must stop the big drug and people flows, or he will end their cash cow, NAFTA. And what Trump is referring to is that despite a majority of the Honduran migrants being in Mexico illegally, the caravan has not been stopped on its journey by local authorities, and people from Mexican towns along the way have been helping the refugees. This is what happened before, where these individuals, they weren't stopped as they flowed through Mexico. This is all part of the deep state plan. And we could see right now that they're pushing their agenda, and they're pushing it hard against Trump. Now, Trump is out there saying, listen, the border agents, they're not allowed to do their jobs properly because of laws like catch and release, which we just discussed. And this is absolutely true. The U.S. border agents, they couldn't do anything in the past. They still can't do anything because of this ridiculous law, which was created by Obama. And this was done on purpose because they wanted to bring these illegals in. There were many agendas associated with it, which we discussed in many, many reports. We're not going to go over that all over again. But we can see right now that the deep state, they are definitely pushing their agenda. We see Trump right now. He is going to be inviting Putin to the White House. And it looks like he's not that afraid of the deep state anymore. It looks like he has the upper hand where he's saying, you know something? Yeah, I'm going to meet with Putin. I'm going to meet with him in front of everyone. I don't really care anymore. And I think we're going to see a lot more of this because I think he's gaining control I think the patriots that are helping him are gaining control and they have a handle on everything. And you're going to see a lot more of Trump just coming out saying, yeah, this is what we're doing. And a lot of the behind the scenes work is going to be coming out to the front. And a lot of people are going to be really surprised at what is going on here. We see Germany, they want to rebuild trust with Russia. Remember, Russia supplies a lot of the gas to Germany. And again, Germany, they want to have a relationship with Russia. It's the United States. Most of the European countries want to have a relationship with Russia. It's the deep state that didn't want the European countries having a relationship. And a lot of the European countries, they're hurting from all the sanctions and everything else that's going on. We see Russia right now is out there and they are claiming that the UK is behind the poisoning of Skripal. And once again, we know that this was a false flag. There is no evidence. They can't produce any evidence. And it looks like if Russia most likely is saying this, they must have some type of evidence behind this, because most of the time they don't come out and just say it. They usually have information on what really happened here. And we know that this is a complete false flag. And we know that they're just out there trying just to push their agenda, maybe try to start war, maybe have Russia react. And again, Russia, Putin, they don't react. They sit back, they observe, and we've seen this time and time again. We see the U.S. and South Korea, on Sunday, they kicked off their annual joint military exercise. We discussed this before. Either it was an April Fool's joke, which it is not, or it was allowed to be done to show that Kim Jong-un would not do anything. He won't comment on it. He will not test a missile. He will not test a nuclear weapon. And so far, since Sunday, he hasn't said a word. I mean, we're not over with this whole thing. It's instead of 2 months of this drill, they're only going to be doing this for 1 month. And I think this was all set up to show that this peace deal is intact. We can have drills with South Korea without North Korea doing anything. And a lot of people are speculating that that mountain that collapsed in North Korea was really set up and exploded and destroyed a lot of the deep state operatives that were working on the nuclear technology in North Korea, holding Kim Jong-un hostage in his own country. We're going to see the same thing happen in Iran. Iran has the same exact problem. A lot of these countries have the same problem where the deep state is embedded in all these countries, trying to push a regime change in these countries. And so far, we haven't heard anything from Kim Jong-un. Nothing at all. We see right now, the U.S. is deploying additional soldiers to Manbij, which is actually paid mercenaries. Remember, the deep state is still in there. They're trying to push the deep state out of this area. And this is why Trump came out and said, listen, we're going to be withdrawing American forces, some 2,000 troops and personnel from Syria. There is no reason for us to be there. Actually, it's illegal for the U.S. to be in there. They were not invited by Syria. They don't have permission. And it looks like Trump right now is getting ready to pull the forces out of Syria. Now, the corporate media, they are going crazy over there in disbelief and horror, saying that ISIS will come back. You're leaving a vacuum. We're going to see terrorist after terrorist. And once again, Trump knows that all these terrorists, the Islamic State, Al-Qaeda, Al-Nusra, Syrian Democratic Forces, moderate rebels, all created by the intelligence agency. And he knows once he pulls the troops out that there's going to be no terrorists in there. Why? Because Russia and Syria are going to swoop in, control these areas, and the deep state has nowhere to go. The corporate media, the intelligence agencies, the deep state, they are in chaos right now. Their entire plan is going down the tubes. And we've said for a very long time that the troops will be coming out of this area. And it's going to happen a lot faster than you think. And I would say in about a month or two, we're going to start to see troops coming home. And it's going to ramp up as the year goes along. Now, of course, the corporate media is out there saying that the ranks of the military officers and career State Department officials, they're going to revolt. They're not going to like this. and there's going to be complete chaos. Well, no, this has already been set. Everything has been squared away with military. And again, those neocons, the deep state, this is what they always wanted. This was their plan from the beginning. And now everything is turning. We see that Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, he reaffirmed on Monday that the U.S. military presence in Syria is completely illegal. And he's saying that he hopes that Trump will stick to his U.S. promise to leave Syria. And I believe he will. And I believe we're going to start to see it happen very, very quickly. Now, what we're seeing is that a lot of things are happening at once. In the corporate media right now, they are right now in complete chaos. And they are out there and they're commenting on the alternative media, where they're saying there's no such thing as pedophiles. Trump's not really looking into this. There's no indictments. And basically what they're saying is truth are lies, lies are truth. It's all conspiracy. Don't believe any of this. Now, when has the corporate media ever mentioned the alternative media? I mean, it started with the Parkland shooting, where they started to mention the alternative media and counter what the alternative media was saying. But before this period of time, they never even acknowledged the alternative media. This means they're getting very nervous that the truth is coming out. Now, just to bring us up to date with the sealed indictments, and to put this into perspective, there's been 6,034 new indictments from March 1st, 2018 to March 31st, 2018. 24,544 new sealed indictments entered from October 30th, 2017 through March 31st, 2018. How many are normal? Well, in 2009, the whole year, there was 1,077 sealed indictments. As you can see, something is definitely happening in the background. And remember, to build cases, to have investigations, it's not like the movies. It's not like what the deep state does, where they say, ooh, cyber attack? Yeah, 3 days later, it's North Korea. We did our investigation. We have all the proof. It's North Korea. It doesn't work like that. It takes a long time to gather the information. It doesn't happen in a day or two. It happens much longer than that. And this is what has been happening right now. Now, to leave you with something very interesting, Q normally says something very interesting, says, where we go one, we go all. And he continually says, or the group of people continually say this all the time in the Q postings. And basically, where this really came from is from JFK. On his bell, on his yacht, he has a saying that was carved into the bell, says, where we go one, we go all. And I just want to leave you with that. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.
Even our rebellious people are still gonna get revenge. Right. You know what I mean? Good, man.
You doing?
I think that's it for that.
That's right, though, man. All the other nations gonna pay. All these other nations.
That's right, bro. Let me get Lamentations 3:26.
Lamentations 3:26. It is good that a man should both hope and quietly wait for the salvation of the Lord.
Yeah, Con, that's what we think about, man, daily, man. I get vexed and bored of being in this damn place, man. It's annoying. But you gotta bear the iron. You gotta bear the iron of your youth. You know what I'm saying? Keep going, bro.
It is good for a man that he bear the yoke in his youth.
Oh, there we go. That's what I wanted. We gotta do that, man. This brother gotta go to work after this. You know, I worked like 11 hours all week, 2 weeks straight. You know what I'm saying? You know, this is folly, man. This is bullshit, man. We gotta put up with this shit, man. You know, we gotta do this work, edify the sheep. That's what's more important to us. Outside of the shit we gotta do, you know, that's a big responsibility. That shows you how big this truth really is. You know what I mean? But hey, it's gonna be worth it to get the hell up out of here, man. Let me see.
Because we got hope that we're gonna make it out. So.
Exactly. Let me see. Jump down to 31st verse.
Lamentations 3:31. For the Lord will not cast off forever.
Keep going.
But though he cause grief, yet will he have compassion according to the multitude of his mercy.
Yeah, the multitude of his mercy is the elect. Okay, the hopeful elect 1/3, the elect and 1/3. Okay, believers. Keep going. Sincere.
For he doth not afflict willingly, nor grieve the children of men.
Keep going.
To crush under his feet all the prisoners of the earth.
Yep.
To turn aside the right of a man before the face of the Most High.
Yep. Yeah, man. So guess what, man? We gotta humble ourselves, man. Submit to ourselves, man. Submit to Yahweh Shemi Al-Shai, excuse me. Alright? Drop that for me, bro. Let me see here. Oh, give me Matthew 5 and let me see. Verse 3, start at 3.
Matthew 5:3. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven.
Exactly. We're like James 2:5 says, the Most High, be hearken my beloved brethren, have the Most High chosen the poor of this world rich in faith.
Yeah.
All right. People look at us like we're fucking crazy, man. Look at these bug out guys. They don't know what the hell's going on. But guess what? Ours is the kingdom of heaven, man. And it's not for everybody either. It's only for the Israelites.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth.
Yeah, the meek. The meek shall inherit the earth. Not the selfish, okay? Not the, castaways, all right? Not the carnal, all right? It's none of that shit, man. It says the meek. I'm gonna look that word up, meek.
Right, it means lonely and humble.
Yeah.
You know? That's what you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be diligent too.
Yeah, come on. I'm gonna get my blue letter out too.
Let me keep going on this real quick. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness. All right, so you're supposed to be righteously thirsty for the truth and making changes in your life. Right?
Yeah, and that
not being a bug out. Hey, bro, if you got it?
No, not yet.
All right. It says, "Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see the Most High. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of the Most High."
Yeah, the peacemakers, man. Not no carnal ass, niggas, man. We're spiritual men. We don't come out here to fight no one. But it gets physical sometimes. So the Most High, man, is looking out all the way around.
Right, come on,
bro. Right here, it says, how do you hear that?
What's the definition?
Yeah.
You got the definitions?
Yeah, definition, right? It says, Slocky. Right here it says,
If you haven't, just drop it for me.
oh, there it is. It says mildness of disposition, gentleness of spirit, meekness. So gentleness of spirit. All right. So basically, like charity, showing love to your brothers, like in a way, like giving. Okay, instead of receiving all the time. You know what I mean? That's as simple as we can put it. All right. That's what that meek is. All right. Because guess what? It's gonna get physical at the end of this thing. All right. When all these spirits get stirred up.
So Esau
started. What's going on, Esau? What's going on, man? Having a good day? Nice and sunny, huh?
Very nice.
What do you think about America's position now on their, what do you call it, their military economics? What do you think they got going on? You hear about Russia and they got all these missiles. You know, America announced, right, that their missile systems are way behind. What do you think about that? What do you think, like, all these people here are saying? What's the question? What do you think about Russia? What do you think about Russia's missiles? How about that? What do you think about Russia's missiles? They got something called Satan 2. What do
I think about it?
Whose military is stronger, America or Russia?
I think we both have a lot of missiles that we don't really need.
That you don't need? Why do they exist?
Because when one country gets missiles, the other one feels like they need to have more, and then the other one feels like they need to have
so
more.
So it's the Cold War 2018.
They just keep stacking, yeah.
Cold War 2018.
Right.
But those missiles are going to be used, though. You know that, right?
Yeah, they're not going to be like...
It's a possibility.
It's going to definitely happen. You're going to die via
Nothing's
missiles.
definite.
No, I know it's definite. Because you're an Edomite. You're an Edomite according to the Bible. And you're an Edomite too, my boy. You know?
What's your name, my man?
Philadelphia Edom.
Zach.
Zachary.
Zach.
Zach the slave.
Zach, I got something for you, Zach. Let me see here. Oh, by the way, that's my whole point, though, because it's in the scriptures. If you believe in the Bible, you don't. That's okay.
Of course you don't.
Because you're an Edomite. You know about the Edomites history. You go back to you know when they say white people come from the caves, which they try to use it as a slander. But that's actually like real
Not
history.
a regular white person.
What are you?
Jewish.
He's Jewish.
No, you're not, bro.
You're
We're the
Khazar,
Jews. You're
bro.
a Khazar. You converted in the 7th century AD, man. Your ancestors converted. You're not a Jew. You don't go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Nah.
We go back to Abraham, Isaac,
looking
and
at the
Jacob.
real Jews,
You're an Edomite.
Yeah.
What tribe are you?
Oh, that's your opinion.
No, I know that
No,
as a
that's
fact.
true.
In Revelation 3 and 9.
Done.
I know that as a fact. You're not a Jew, bro. What does Jew mean, by the way? You're a Jew, right?
What does it mean?
You ought to know what it means. Yeah, what does it mean?
Very hostile. I'm Jewish.
What's up? Because he stole my nationality. You damn right I'm hostile. He stole my nationality.
I stole it?
Yeah, your ancestors, you hook-nosed devils, Edomites. Yeah, you hook-nosed demons.
Right
man.
here, Revelations 2:9. I know thy works.
Hey, you know what they called you on Ellis Island? Slaki, man. You know what they called you on Ellis Island, right? You fake Jews.
You know what?
You don't know about your history?
You know about the 6-Day War? You know about the 6-Day War?
He's proven he doesn't know anything. Let's just read the scripture.
He's Jewish though, but your people went over there. Your people went over there.
What's up, Esau?
I will say I'm not very religious, so I haven't studied.
That shows you're not the real people. You're not the real people of the Bible. That's my point. Salaki, real quick, bro.
Well, Jesus was Jewish.
Hey, no, he wasn't. He was a Jew. He was a Jew. He's an Israelite, not some Jewish made up term.
Well, again, that's your opinion.
That's not.
Well, let's read the
that's
Bible.
real
It's
facts.
not an
He was a Jew, right? The chosen one.
Right.
You guys,
us, not you.
need to understand that other people have opinions that differ
It's not
with your own.
opinions, though.
You can have.
So if you have an
Salaki,
opinion,
real quick,
you can't
brother.
just say it's a fact.
The six day war, your people stole our nationality and tried to steal land tried to steal land that didn't belong to you. That's why the Arabs know that too. They said the real Jews. They said that you Jewish people will never be able to have peace in the land because you left black and came back white. They didn't know who you are, man. That's not no opinion, bro.
Of course you
don't know nothing, man.
Because knowledge is controlled.
That's your opinion.
Knowledge, get Revelation 3:9.
Revelations 2:9.
The reason why you didn't know that before you read that is because your people, they hide knowledge, all right? They hid the fact that the real Jew, the Yehudi, is Shavatza, right? But they ain't gonna tell you that. They're gonna tell you that you're a Jew, man.
Right,
you're not a Jew, bro.
So what's your
Hey, we'll get to you, Esau.
Yeah, we got you.
I just want to know what your agenda is today. Are you trying
Revelations
to
2:9.
to your?
I know thy works and tribulation and poverty.
Yep.
You guys are the richest damn people, the highest percentage in the damn world, man. So you don't fit this.
There's a reason for that.
Oh,
Yeah, rape, robbery, and murder.
And it says,
No,
but thou art rich.
Hard work. That first of all, who built that?
Go ahead,
No,
brother.
no,
Go
you
ahead.
go.
You got it, man. You got it.
No, read. You got it, man. Fuck it, man. These devils going.
It says, but thou art rich, and that's talking about faith. And you said, oh, I don't believe in God, or I don't believe in the Bible. You're a faithless guy. So this ain't talking about you. And
Well,
it says,
I told you I'm not religious.
and we're not either. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. And that's talking about you, because our people in the Bible.
That's your interpretation.
No, it's not. It's not, because we were cut off from our heritage.
But you can't say it's not.
And
It's
your
your
people going around calling themselves Jews, and you
You're
stole
saying
that. We're not calling ourselves Jews, because we were cut off from our heritage. We went into slavery by you damn devils.
Well, that's also not true.
That is
I was
true.
not.
First
my ancestors weren't even in America.
First of all,
at
the
that time.
Zionists funded the Atlantic slave trade, my boy. The fake Jews. So what are you talking about, man?
The Zionists.
The Zionists. They call themselves Zionists. The colonists, so-called colonists that colonized all the Americas.
The Jews colonized America?
Yeah, the fake Jews like you. Atalo Yehudi.
That's not true.
I don't know.
We were in Eastern Europe.
What world do you
we
live
were in
in,
Eastern
man?
Europe at that time.
What world do you live in, man? It's a small world that you live in. You don't know a lot. You claim to be a Jew, and you don't know a lot of the fucked up shit your people did, man.
He doesn't know. He does. He's playing. He's
Yeah, I think
Hey, this is Habakkuk 2:12. Woe unto him that buildeth a town with blood, and establish a city by iniquity. And that's these fake Jews. That's all they have done. Nothing but rape, robbery, and murder. Strip our nationality away and call us black people.
Yeah,
And then you
exactly.
got hook noses like him.
Yeah.
That's stealing my identity.
Yeah, goddamn.
But he's low level. He's not a Mason. He's not the Rothschilds.
Well, first of all, you can't hold me accountable.
And you know about your daddy, the Rothschilds? You know about your daddy, the Rothschilds? You know about the Rothschilds, right? You do? Yes or no, man? You can't say sure.
Well, I'm familiar with the family.
With the Rothschilds, right?
I haven't studied up on
they know our people are the Jews. That's why this society is set up the way it is. You know? But I got something for you, Esau. It's Malachi 1.
It's interesting to hear your point of view.
Malachi 1 and 4. Whereas Edom saith, which is
Here come Jake, because Esau's up here.
it says, we are impoverished,
You know?
but we will return and build the desolate places. Like, that's how you stole America.
Hey, we're not answering questions, guys. We're not answering questions. Keep reading now.
Wait, it says,
We're not taking questions right now. You know, keep reading, brother.
it says, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. That's why America's going to be destroyed. You know that? You know America's great Babylon the whore, right? Or you just have your own beliefs. Who do you think America is? This is your heaven.
I'm interested in hearing your guys' opinion.
It's not.
That's fine. Snoggy. Isaiah 14:21.
But you know,
prepare
there
slaughter
are
for
a
the
lot of
children.
people that disagree.
It said what? Prepare what?
Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers.
What you fake Jews did.
That they should not rise nor possess the land,
Like, you know, white,
nor face,
white people.
nor will
Talking
face.
about you, yes, you're an Edomite.
Exactly.
Red people, actually. You're not white. You're red. Oh, by the way, these average little pathetic Americans and you fake Jewish people, y'all the same people. Y'all both of y'all are Edomites. You know that, right? Y'all just claim to be Jews and y'all live higher up than them. They're like the white trash, and y'all are like the average.
Right. So the white trash people, those are the people who I